Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets because over the last 24 hours, something very interesting and perhaps very bad has occurred on the Bitcoin price action chart. As we can see here, Bitcoin was testing resistance levels up here around $6,600 just a couple of days ago, and it was trading in this consolidation pattern, which we were very much hoping was going to break bullish. But unfortunately, that's not what's happened. Bitcoin broke bearish out of this, and as we can see, Bitcoin is currently trading down here around $6,250, several $100 down below the level of resistance we were trying to get through in the last couple of days. Not only is this bad for the short term, this could potentially be very, very bad for the long term on Bitcoin, and I'm going to be laying out how this could become a very big problem in the next couple of weeks, as I believe Bitcoin is going to be coming down and testing $6,000 again, and I also believe that there's a decent chance that this time we're not going to get as lucky as we have the 5 other times we've come down and tested it this year in 2018. Anyway, guys, before we get into today's video, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell, guys. It does help out the channel if you do it, and it would be appreciative if you did it. But without much further ado, let's get right into it. It does feel good to go ahead and be back doing YouTube, guys. It feels very weird when I go a day without uploading. I do apologize for not uploading yesterday. I was busy with some things IRL, and I was working on the course. The course is going to be launching very, very soon, and I am very, very happy with it. I was recording a bunch of videos for that, and I am very happy with the product, guys. I'm going to keep the deadline internal for right now in case I don't meet it, but just know that it is coming very soon, and I am very happy with it so far. Anyway, now, actually, without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading at around $6,250, and if we come over here to CoinMarketCap, we're not going to be seeing a very good screen today, guys. As we can see, Bitcoin's trading at that price level I just read, and its current daily volume is hovering just a little under $4 billion, and it's only down by about 3.77% over the last 24 hours. And you might be thinking, okay, well, Bitcoin moves 3.77% all the time, but one thing you have to keep in mind is that that's a bigger deal now than it used to be, because back over here at the second half of 2017 and the first half of 2018, the Bitcoin market was, and all of the cryptocurrency markets actually, were far more volatile than they are now. So seeing even a 3.77% move on Bitcoin, it's almost like seeing a 10% move on Bitcoin back over here at the peak of the bull market and the beginning of the bear market. So seeing that large of a move is actually rather significant, and it's also rather significant for the technical reasons which we're about to get into. The next thing we want to talk about is Ethereum, and we are going to be doing some technical analysis on Ethereum later on in the video because Ethereum is also likewise worrying me. As you can see, it's currently trading below $200, and that's definitely something that's noteworthy because that was a very important level of support. Like I said, we'll discuss that in a little bit. Current daily volume is currently hovering just a little under $2 billion, almost exactly $2 billion actually. And as we can see, Ethereum, the number 2 altcoin, the $20 billion cryptocurrency, is down 11% in the last 24 hours. Definitely not something that we wanted to see. We thought Ethereum was going to be doing better than it currently is, but like I said, today is not exactly a great day for the cryptocurrency markets. If we sort by change over the last 24 hours here, what we're going to see is that there are currently 6 cryptocurrencies in the green, and lo and behold, 2 of them are stablecoins, so those don't even count. We have 94 red cryptocurrencies. Almost a quarter of the valuation of Aurora is gone today, and we see a plethora of altcoins down by over 10% in the last 24 hours. Definitely not a really great day for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, guys. I'm not trying to instill FUD in you, but I am probably going to be doing some technical analysis here in just a minute that may do that. I don't want you guys to get worried about the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets, despite what I'm about to say about Bitcoin. Because no matter how low Bitcoin goes, guys, I do believe fully that within the next 5 years, it's probably going to be worth like 5 or 10 times its current all-time high. For the long term, I'm still very, very bullish on Bitcoin, but for the short and midterm, well, we'll talk about that in just a second. The next thing we want to talk about is total market capitalization, because as you can see, it's currently hovering, again, under $200 billion, down here around $190 billion. And this is actually a worrying piece of market structure that we're going to go ahead and discuss, because what we saw Bitcoin doing, or excuse me, total market capitalization doing earlier on in the year is it would pull back to around $250 billion like we saw here on April 6th, and then it did the very same thing back over here on June 28th. It came down here to a very similar level of around $250 billion, and then we would see some kind of rally, we'd see some kind of recovery on the Bitcoin and the altcoin markets, and that's what we would see. And lately, the trend has been that Bitcoin, total market capitalization would come down to around $190 billion. Except we saw that happen once over here in mid-August, but here in September, we've seen that happen 3 times in just a little over the last week and a half. The total market capitalization has come all the way down to $190 billion 3 times, and currently we're trading down there again, and that kind of gives me the idea that the bears are really trying to push us down here, and that also ties into some things we're about to talk about. It does kind of show apparent on the total market capitalization charts that the bears are definitely the ones that are still in control of this market. Let's not get ahead of ourselves and say that we're in a bull market or anything, guys. The bears are still very much in control of this market, and the fact that we've come down here and every single little rally, if you want to call it that, on total market capitalization charts has come down back to $190 billion and been pushed back down is definitely a good reminder of that. The next thing we want to talk about is total market dominance, because that is actually very important, and we are actually seeing something interesting happen here. Bitcoin actually had a little peak in market dominance up here to almost 58%, and at the same time, Ethereum was picking up some of its market dominance, and it looked like Ethereum may be about to start some kind of altcoin cycle, some kind of altcoin recovery. It looked like Ethereum may go on some kind of rally. Those dreams aren't necessarily dashed, no pun intended, but they are definitely taking a side burner. They are definitely on the side burner right now, because things are not really looking good for the altcoins right now. Bitcoin is actually slowly getting some of its dominance back here over the last 24 to 48 hours, as you can see, picking up about 0.5% of dominance, actually close to 1% of dominance in the last 24 hours. Anyway, let's go ahead and do our short-term technical analysis on Bitcoin, and then we're going to talk about the longer-term ramifications, which I believe this movement, which you see before you, is going to have on the Bitcoin market, because it's definitely not a good thing. Anyway, what we saw Bitcoin do recently is back over here at the beginning of April, Bitcoin decided to go and jump off the metaphorical cliff. It jumped about $1,100, almost $1,200 actually, in the span of a little under 24 hours. Definitely not a good day for Bitcoin, unless you were shorting, in which case I'm sure you had one hell of a time. But for the rest of us, definitely wasn't that great of a day. We saw Bitcoin come down into this consolidation pattern from which it broke bullish and came up here and was trying to get it was trying to break resistance up here around $6,600 and kind of a zone of resistance in between about $6,500 to $6,600. And when we were doing that, we formed this consolidation pattern right here, which Bitcoin has unfortunately broken bearish out of. We can see Bitcoin is currently trading at around $6,250, some $300 south of where we wanted it to be right now. Unfortunately, it didn't break bullish, it did break bearish. We did have some early warning signs of this. As we can see on this uptrend right here, we see a lot of big red candlesticks right here. These kind of wicks, rather, is what I was trying to say. Those wicks right there were kind of giving us an indication that we may be about to see some kind of break, because the bears kept coming down and testing that level. You guys have heard in past when I talk about either the bulls or the bears are really trying to get through a level of support or resistance, you'll see them go and test that level over and over and over and over and over again. And on the fifth time over here, as you can see, 4 wicks, and then the actual fifth time was the charm. The bears did actually get their way, and we came all the way down here to around $6,250 with a low close to about $6,200. And what we see here is that we did get some kind of little bounce here with Bitcoin's hourly RSI coming down to around 16. Definitely a bounce territory, definitely kind of giving us the idea that we may be about to see some kind of larger bounce or some kind of larger recovery, or at least some sideways trading action. But one thing that we also saw was that it came down here to this uptrend of support, much more visible on the 4-hour. If we look in here, what we see is that we have our pivot point for this trend line right over here. We have a set point right over here. Then we have another point right here, and then another point right over here. I'll tell you what concerns me about this. And what concerns me is the fact that we've come down here again just a couple of days after we came back here this time. I'll tell you what concerns me about this market, and one of the reasons why this is such a big movement and it's such a big deal that Bitcoin has broken bearish out of this consolidation pattern right here. Very simple. Whenever Bitcoin comes down to $6,000 or the zone of support around $6,000, what happens? Every time it does it, you see a couple weeks of rally. Back over here, we saw a rally that extended for about a month before the actual new downtrend formed. Back over here, same thing, about a month of uptrend. Over here, pretty good. We started moving up for a couple of months, and everything was looking very bullish here. Back over here, we even had over here, even though it wasn't as quick of an uptrend as we saw here, we did see a couple of weeks of uptrend. We saw about 2 days of uptrend here, guys. We came down to $6,000, and right now what it looks like is happening is that we're breaking bearish market structure in a bearish way, which if you extrapolate that out with the way that I analyze market structure, what that means is that that could be a continuation of a bear market sign, simply because we've gone and jumped $300 here. If we don't actually get some kind of rally coming from $6,000, coming from us coming down to $6,000, that increases the chance and that increases the likelihood that Bitcoin breaks below $6,000. And let me tell you what happens if we break below $6,000. I believe that if we break below $6,000, within 12 hours of a confirmed breakout, we will be trading at $5,000. What we saw recently is that Bitcoin jumped $1,100 from up here around $7,400 all the way down here down to like $6,300, about $1,100 in under 24 hours. Bitcoin jumped $1,100 in under 24 hours. For what reason? There was no fundamental reason. There was no technical reason. There wasn't really a good reason for Bitcoin to crash other than we're in a bear market and the bears are in control. Let me tell you what'll happen if we break below the most important level of support in all of Bitcoin technical analysis, namely $6,000. There is going to be blood in the streets, and it is going to be very, very bad. Am I saying we're going to break below $6,000? No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the likelihood of us breaking below it is greater now because of this little downtrend and this little bearish correction, whatever you want to call it, thing that we've seen happen over the last 12 hours or so. Things definitely aren't looking very good for the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets right now. And go ahead and tell me in the comment section down below what you think about that. I'm very concerned that if we don't see some kind of rally coming here from $6,000, that we do break below $6,000. And if we don't break below $6,000, it's also very possible that we just trade above $6,000 and continue on with the accumulation phase scenario, which I've been saying is probably what's most likely for a little while now. Tell me in the comment section down below what your opinion is on that. The next thing I want to talk about is Ethereum, because Ethereum isn't looking any much better. Ethereum really isn't any better. It isn't taking this any better than Bitcoin is. Of course, it's an altcoin. Typically, the altcoins move in the same direction as Bitcoin, but a bit further, and Ethereum is definitely no exception to that right now. Something that is very concerning to me on the Ethereum chart is that we saw Ethereum do very well here in the last couple of days. We saw Ethereum come all the way down here to around $170, and then it came about 35%. It jumped about 35% in a rally here. Over a couple of days, Ethereum went from $170 to close to $230, which was a nice little rally for Ethereum, and there was a lot of profits to be made there. But what concerned me was a downtrend, which I outlined in the last video that went up on the channel. I can't say yesterday's video, it was the day before yesterday. You can watch that video on the top right. I laid out this downtrend with a pivot point right here, a set point right here, and then I was showing how we very well may be getting resistance right around this region right here. And funnily enough, that's exactly what happened. And right around this region is exactly where Ethereum tested, or actually got resistance, and came down here, and currently is trading below $200, which is definitely not a good thing. If Ethereum does get back up above this in the next 24 hours or so, but after I'm recording this, then we can call this a bounce on the zone of support around $200, and it did get support down here. But if Ethereum comes down here, gets resistance on 200 and keeps going down, I think best case scenario, we go straight back to 170 and try for a double bottom. Worst case scenario, we go even lower. Guys, I'm not a permabull. Some people like to think I'm a permabull. I'm not a permabull. I'm just normally focusing on the bullish case. But right now, there really isn't much of one. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I'm not very bullish on Bitcoin. I am quite bearish on Bitcoin, and I am concerned about the integrity of the level of $6,000, which we've come down and tested 5 times this year. And on the 5th time, which just happened in the last couple of weeks, we didn't get that rally. Guys, I just made a video for the course talking about market structure. And in that video, I was talking about how important it is to understand the concept of market structure, because when you break market structure, that normally signals that a very, very big event is coming in the market. That is normally the prelude to some kind of major market movement, some kind of major trend reversal. Something major normally happens in a market when you break market structure. Let me tell you what a very important piece of market structure has been in 2018. Bitcoin comes down to $6,000. A month of rally. $6,000, month of rally. $6,000, 2-3 weeks of rally. $6,000, 2-3 weeks of rally. We haven't seen 2 or 3 weeks of rally here, guys. That's very concerning to me. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think. I'm not going to put a percentage on what I think the likelihoods that we go below $6,000 is, but I think you guys get the point. I think you guys get the message, and I think you guys understand that I'm definitely not very happy with the Bitcoin market right now, and I very much hope that we don't go below $6,000, and then we do trade sideways, like I've said for the last couple of weeks, that I hope that and think that we will do. My opinions on whether or not we're going to stay above $6,000 have definitely evolved after we've broken bearish out of this consolidation pattern and failed to get above such a trivial level of resistance as $6,600. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching. As always, tell me in the comment section down below what your thoughts on the market are. I love hearing them, but like I said, I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching. It does help out the channel when you do watch, and I do love conversing with you in the comments. That's what they're for. But that's going to do it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.